always been said that Nigeria's total land area of 924 odd square kilometers is characterized by boundless travel and tourist landmarks, which ordinarily should be money spinners for the country. It, however, remains an anticlimax of sorts for such an abundance of God-given resources to be allowed to waste because of issues bordering on insecurity and grossly underdeveloped infrastructure. But one young woman here in Lagos has been bucking the trend, risking life and limb, traversing the length and breadth of Nigeria as a lone tourist. In the course of her self-sponsored travels, she has been documenting for posterity some of those exquisite tourist attractions through her camera lens. We'll get to meet her now, and she is Bethia Idoko, Head of Business Development at Giditraffic, an online social service created to ease stress by providing on-the-go traffic updates and information to the public. Welcome to the program. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
Would you like to start? No, you go ahead.
Okay, Bethia, it's good to have you here.
Thank you.
I've had quite some comments about you and what you are doing to project Nigeria's tourism potentials. There are someone who has been looking at Nigeria and what we can do with tourism, particularly in the context of COVID-19. And what we have learned from elsewhere is that some countries are saying, look, COVID-19 will not stop their country's tourism potential. But what exactly have you observed in terms of what we have in Nigeria and what we have not been able to do with the potentials that you have observed?
Thank you. We have quite a lot here, but I think the first problem is the fact that a lot of people have no idea about, places we have in Nigeria that you could see. Most times when we think tourism, you tend to think abroad, like travel out, and see beautiful places. However, there are loads and loads of beautiful places here that we do not know anything about. We have no idea about, as I've experienced. I was one of such until COVID-19, where I couldn't travel abroad anymore, and decided to look inward to see if there were places that I could possibly visit here in Nigeria. And I was pleasantly surprised, seeing so many beautiful places. But I think the first problem really is getting to let people know about them, because people are not so opposed to traveling locally. However, they just don't know where to go to.
So you can start off by helping now. Where should they go? What are some of those sites that you have found impressive, and what's been your favorite so far?
There's quite a bunch of them. First off, I'll start with Obudu. I think that's the most popular tourist attraction we have here in Nigeria. It's greatly underrated because it's much more beautiful than you even see in pictures and videos. I mean, pictures and videos can only do so much, but seeing the place in person, it's pretty amazing. There's another really beautiful place in Nasarawa called Farinruwa. It's a waterfall, a really beautiful waterfall. I particularly like waterfalls a lot. And then there's a place in Abuja that didn't seem to get very popular until lately. It's called Mpape Crush Rock. Very quiet place, but very beautiful. The scenery there is it's unbelievable, And then we have places like Eri Jesha in Osun State, Owo Waterfalls in Kwara State. We have the Kogosi Warm Spring. We have the Suspended Lake in Adowaye. I mean, according to the reports, we have just 2 suspended lakes in the world, and one happens to be in Oyo State, Adowaye, which I went to visit as well. So it's pretty interesting. There's so many places to visit here, quite a lot of places.
So you talked about the transportation there and the insecurity situation. How has that, affected the narrative? Because Nigeria is beautiful. It's a beautiful country.
It is.
But there's insecurity. People can't move around the way they want to. I mean, we're just talking this morning, and I'm sure you heard the sad story.
Yes, I did.
We don't know how many boys, again, in Niger State. Niger has a beautiful scenery, too.
Yeah,
I
it
want
does.
to go to Niger. I want to take a road trip around Nigeria, go around the 774 local governments.
Yeah.
But I can't because of the insecurity. How do you, put people's mind against that?
Well, I do not invalidate anyone's claims or make light of a lot of experiences, people have had, unpleasant ones, traveling across Nigeria. But I can only speak personally. I mean, I can only give my own experience. I haven't had, it's been 6 months since I've been traveling locally. I've been to about 17 states. And it so happened that I have not had any issues security-wise. I mean, when I was going to Obudu, I went with security, but then that was just one of my initial journeys, and you would think, oh, it's going to be really bad. However, I found out that I didn't need them for any reason. I really didn't. I just didn't need them. And afterwards, I went everywhere else just by myself without a security. I get my driver and I'm like, okay, so this is where we're going. And we get in the car and we go. Some of the places you can't fly to, or you can fly to a certain point, maybe fly to Abuja, and then from Abuja is a road trip to that particular place. So yeah, there's a lot of road journeys involved. However, I honestly have not had any security issues. It's been very safe for me in all the places I have visited, at least 17 places in the last 6 months. So I can't say it's not bad because I have had a great experience. However, I would only speak about my own experience. I mean, I went to Taraba. There's a place there called Mambila Plateau. And in between the journey, there was a lot of road trip involved. And the only thing I noticed was there was a lot of security presence, so much security on the road. So like almost every kilometer or two, you had army men there, I mean, it made me feel safe. And I didn't have any issues, either going or coming.
Well, Bethia, we need to take a short break now. After that short break, we'll come back to you. Please stay with us. This is The Morning Show here on the Arise News channel. Welcome back to The Morning Show here on the Arise News channel. Our guest is still Bethia Idoko, Head of Business Development at Giditraffic, an online social service created to ease stress by providing the on-the-go traffic updates and information to the public. Well, I mean, Bethia, I know about Giditraffic, and I'm sure many Nigerians know about Giditraffic. But what's the connection between Giditraffic and your interest in tourism? And then your interest in tourism, is it just a personal choice or it is a project? And if it is a project, what level of support are you getting from government, either at the state level or at the federal government level? Because, I mean, you can't just be traveling all over the place just for the purpose of, behaving like smallpox.
That's a bunch of questions. I'll try to answer as many as I remember.
Okay.
First things first, with my work, Giditraffic. It's not particularly connected to my travels. Travel is just something that I grew up and found that I could barely do without. I love to travel, and it's a family thing. Everyone in my family typically loves to travel, and we do a lot of traveling as much as is possible for us. And then, yes, it's not a government thing, or it's not a project as such, because I do not get any funding from anywhere. I just I get up and go when I need to go. So I'm not funded by anyone. But it's just one of those things that you find makes you very happy. Traveling makes me very happy, keeps me alive. And I've been doing quite a lot of traveling. As a matter of fact, I've been to 36 countries. And as at last year, I thought that number was going to be at least 52 because I was prepped. However, COVID had other plans. But the good part of it is, it was because of that I discovered local travels, because I must travel one way or another. So when I couldn't travel internationally anymore at the time, I decided, let me see if there are places I can visit in Nigeria. And I was pleasantly surprised to see the level of beauty, that we have here, tucked in, hidden away. A lot of people don't even know about. And I found it pretty interesting because when I started posting my pictures on Instagram, I was surprised at the amount of questions and curiosity from so many people. Oh, is this really Nigeria? This is so beautiful. Oh, wow, I didn't know this kind of place existed. And it was funny, people started to travel to some of these places as well, because I don't think there are a lot of people who are averse to traveling. So yeah, traveling is a lifestyle for me. I must travel, whether or not I must.
Well, we seem to have an update before Tunu has the next question on the school children who have been abducted from the government secondary school Kangara in Niger State. We're told that 10 of them have been rescued. I don't know whether our correspondent Olaleye is still out there on the line, but that's the update. 10 of the school children have been rescued or they have escaped, but we'll keep giving you information with regard to the situation in Niger State. We're told that 10 of the children have regained freedom, but we don't have what the exact number of the children who were abducted from that hostel from Government Science Secondary School, Kangara. What the exact number is, we do not know yet, but 10 of them have regained freedom. Tundu, over to you.
But Bethia, back to our conversation. You mentioned a few sites that you really enjoyed in Nigeria. Yeah. But what's your assessment of the hospitality industry that exists in those areas to support those sites? Like, what kind of accommodation is available? Where can you dine and other activities? Where can you shop?
That's the part that is not very colorful. I mean, people see the nice pictures, but then have no idea the process it takes to get there and what it's like when you actually get there. If I'll be honest, I would say we hardly have any infrastructure surrounding these places. Obudu is the only place I can say seems to be perfect in a sense that, it has accommodation there, you have hotels there. It's like all-inclusive. So when you're there, you barely need anything that is not there. And the roads to get there, at least when you get to Obudu, is pretty good. However, for the rest of these other places, it's a Herculean feat to actually get to some of them. And I think it's some of the things that discourage people once they get to hear about it. For instance, when we went to Farinruwa, as awesome as that place is, your car can only get to a certain point where you have to park and you walk. We literally walked 2 hours to get to the waterfall. We walked 2 hours and we crossed 5 streams. That's the funny part. But we actually crossed 5 streams, walking on foot for 2 hours to get there, coming back within an hour, 40 minutes, just to walk back to the car. So, there are no hotels around there. There's even no store, any shop where you could possibly buy something to drink or eat. You have to pack everything you will need when you're going there. And God forbid anything goes wrong there. There are no hospitals, there's no first aid, there's nothing. So you're basically on your own when you go on some of those trips. It was the same thing when we went to Owu Waterfalls. Somewhere in a deep village, really beautiful place. However, your car can only go to a certain point, and then you park, and then you hike. So you have to be physically fit. You have to have your water or any drinks or snacks, whatever you'll be needing, because you won't find anywhere to buy anything else around there. So these places are there. They're very beautiful, but then there's hardly any development around them, to make it easy for people to access. There are no hotels there. For almost everywhere, I have been. The Mambila Plateau wasn't as bad. At least it had a hotel where, I stayed. It's not the Hilton. It's not the fanciest of places to stay, but at least there was a hotel there. And I could stay in the hotel and, move around every day until you've seen as much as you need to before you head on out. So I would say that if we have proper infrastructures around these things, like at least hotels, stores, and those kind of things, it will make it easier and more attractive for people to visit, All
right. Thank you so much for that. We'll go for a quick break, but when you come back, I'd like to talk about food, your food journey in all of this. I know your mouth is salivating. I want to talk about that really, because Nigeria's got exquisite, wonderful food.
Yep,
we'll talk about that. Okay. You can start a little bit. Start to whet our appetite about how well you curated food and drink in Nigeria. Food especially. You've been a couple of places. Food.
Yeah.
What comes to mind?
Food in Nigeria, as we know, it is very interesting because we make up most of our meals with a lot of seasoning, to say, both local and, some of the international seasonings that we're used to. I like to try a bit of local food in any new country or state, that I go to. I like to make it a point of duty to try it. And I must say it's been pretty interesting. I'm a bit finicky with food, however, but then I would always like to try because I don't want to get the feeling of, you came here and you didn't get a taste of, their local food. I'll give an instance. When I went to Bauchi, Yankari, there's a place, I was taken to where they sell something they call masa. Masa is kind of like pancakes, but it's made differently. It's made with rice. Rice, yeah. And then they serve it with some seasoning, some yaji seasoning. This kind of seasoning we use for suya. I found that most interesting. As a matter of fact, coming back, we made it a point of duty to stop there. The early morning masa, hot from the fire, with the women making it locally. I made a few videos here and there. That was very, very interesting to try. And then in Mambila, they have a variation of kidney beans. It's red like the kidney beans, but it's slightly different when you cook it. So they make it like a beans porridge. I tried that as well. The locals made some for us by the waterfall, and it was pretty interesting. But local dining when I travel is a lot of fun. I had some pounded yam and some soup and stuff from Benue as well, when I was in Benue, and that I truly appreciated. So yeah, we have a diverse array of food when it comes to local food.
Well, Bethia Idoko, thank you for staying with us. We'll go on a short break, and then after this commercial break, the conversation will continue. Thank you for staying with us. Welcome back to the Morning Show here on the Arise News channel. Still with us on the Morning Show is Bethia Idoko, Head of Business Development at Giditraffic. Well, Bethia, I admire your patriotism. Many Nigerians would rather go abroad, even with COVID-19, to go and have holiday abroad. But you have devoted your time to discovering Nigeria and its potentials, its beauty, its resources, its great heritage. But what advice would you like to give to government? Because government oftentimes talks about tourism and development. They have ministries of tourism, departments of tourism. But do you think that the Nigerian government at all levels is doing enough? If you don't think they're doing enough, what else do you think from what you have observed that the Nigerian government can possibly do?
Thank you. First thing, I do not think that the Nigerian government is doing enough as regards tourism. I think it's a huge industry that could generate a lot of IGR for the country. However, it seems like, it's definitely being neglected. First thing I would say is, if you need to appoint somebody for for tourism, the biggest mistake to make is to put someone there who's not passionate about tourism. If you're very passionate about tourism, you wouldn't need advice, you wouldn't need to be pushed for you to develop the industry. Passion first before anything else. So we need people who are passionate about the industry up there. Once we have these people up there, then it becomes pretty easy to develop the industry per se, to make sure we have proper infrastructure around a lot of the tourist attractions that we have. One place, Eri Jesha, I just think is the most amazing place ever. It's a waterfall. However, it's a waterfall in one area with 7 different layers. Yeah. To get to one layer, you could climb up to 300 staircases. Yeah. And you can't see all 7 standing in front of one. That's like the most amazing thing ever. But then to get to this place, you only have the staircase going up to the 3rd layer of the waterfall. And after the 3rd layer, you are basically on your own to get to the 7th one. It's a bit tedious and dangerous. I couldn't make it past the 3rd one because when I looked up and they said I have to climb through here, I felt like if I fall, I might die, So, we need these places fixed in a way that is easy for people to access it and see it. That way, you can start to make money from these places. If there are hotels around the area, it's easy. People can lodge, take a weekend, explore the place in a very relaxed way. Money is being made. I mean, people will be employed. One way or another, it translates to money. So the government has a lot to do, especially in this time. I mean, where, in my opinion, it's a lot easier to spread the word about anything. We have the social media now. So it's easy to get word across. It's easy to showcase anything you want to showcase. It's easy to sell anything you want to sell. However, tourism is not using that very useful tool yet. If you get people to these places, cause people to see them, let people know, as a matter of fact, that there are places like this that exist in Nigeria, it makes it very easy for people to want to travel locally, you know. Getting to, like, Obudu now, for instance. Sorry, I'm just calling so many places because it's really exciting for me. I mean, Obudu, you can only get as far as Calabar. And once you get to Calabar, then it's a road trip to Obudu. The road is horrible, to say the least. I mean, it's not nice at all. And it's a really long journey from Calabar, depending on what kind of car you're in. It's going to take you at least 7 hours or more, you know, to get there. However, there's a a huge piece of land all the way going there. We could have a rail line dedicated to just Obudu. Yeah, it's that important. We can have a rail line dedicated to just take people to Obudu, because at least a lot of people do go there. We might see an increase in numbers because for some people it's, no, I can't do 7 hours on the road, you know. But these are things that, if fixed, would bring a lot of revenue to the government. But I think for the longest time, you know, it has been ignored and put down. But we might be surprised at how much money, you know, could come out if these places can be set up in such a way that it's easy for people to visit.
Well, thank you very much, Bethia Idoko. A lot of great thoughts there in terms of what government can do and how we also, as citizens and individuals, can rediscover our country. Many Nigerians go to Maldives, they go to the Caribbean just to go and propose.
I know, right?
But what you have told us is that we have even more beautiful and exotic and attractive sites in Nigeria where we can better appreciate nature and our country. Yeah. Thank you very much, Bethia. I hope that the relevant authorities have listened to you and they will do what is necessary.